This is Mia Luth and Dr. Mia Luth, and it's Saturday, 10/25, 2022. I haven't really slept, so I'm sure I'm not looking so great this morning. But I am quick changing priorities, which I figured would happen. Um, so now I have to sell pretty much a lot of things all in one lot. Um, so I gotta put that together, and I need to rearrange a little storage. I might need to sell something. Uh, but it's one of those things. Um, just not really gonna put up with certain situations because I don't have to. And I need to make time for something else. So um it's this is like the 25th. Um so by January 1st, God Cares Ministries will just be dissolved. I'm not putting time and effort in certain things, especially since I volunteered to do it. So tithe or not, it's just not working out. So some people may need to go wallow in self pity somewhere else because that one I can't handle. Um, uh, so paperwork will go through. I will be today making several phone calls so that I can make sure I have things scheduled properly. Um, but there's a procedure that I had to put off because of COVID. So I'm going to try and reschedule that procedure and really see what I can do from there. But I mean, I'm not, there are people who need to understand that not everybody's going to want to be tolerating certain situations. And some of them are not required by any law to do so. Um, so I will close all that down and likely just try and pick up consulting work that I can do for him. I don't freaking know. But there's a lot of stuff out the door. I'm not even going to try. Because I don't want to. And so when that happens, that's that. Um, but a lot of people will say when you have sleep issues is to try and get up and do something. And that is true, but just try and remember what kind of light you got on. If you awaken too much, okay, yeah, soft light. Some people say pink. I'm not entirely sure blue's the best, but um, something that's not like bright light. And you wake your brain back up, it's harder to go to sleep. So yeah, I will have large pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of craft and jewelry that uh, I will probably sell for just whatever. A lot of it's organized and clean, very useful. I don't want it. And so this was supposed to be the studio, but because I can't hold a guitar or play, I'm trying to build it that way, it's not a good idea. So unfortunately, now I gotta do all this crap. I still have a use for these things, but some of these are gonna get used to help somebody with a leaky roof now. But I have to clean all this out now, and this all has to be done. Like, I would say normally on a good day for me would probably take about 6 hours with very little breaks, but because I need to have something completely done, which fine with me. Uh, by tomorrow morning, I'm gonna have to do another like 14 hour. So that's gonna put me in total like useless land for pretty much, yeah, the rest of till Monday. So I'm not sure I'm gonna be doing these kind of um, YouTube things for maybe a month, because if my symptoms change, it's not. I mean, hopefully, it's not going to be that bad. But there's stuff that just needs to be done. It has to happen, and people don't like to volunteer their time anymore, and people like to think that everything they do should cost. They should get paid like twice the value of what it is, and I find that a little silly. So I just struggle through it. But I will have a lot. It'll probably be at least 30, 40, 60 pounds plus containers, depending on how I mail it or ship it. Um, so I can probably ship that cheap parcel post, but parcel post I have to deliver that myself to the post office. So that gets a little tricky. Um, and yeah, that's sad. So I'll probably be keeping I'll be keeping my candle wax. I'll just make candles for myself. I mean, that's just good enough. But um, so I will be taking information down from the internet. Um, but I will be leaving board meeting notes, and final board meeting notes I went through, and I always proofread them and then reread them, because I'm basically three people doing one job. So, I recheck to make sure that I, did dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's and all that kind of fun stuff. So I might have a yard sale. It just depends. Um, might be a little late for that, but or something. Just depends. But some people were wondering. I need to clear off my desk. So this is just going to be one of those days where I'm just going to keep like dragging ass through the whole day. But it's going to happen. Oh, yeah. So I don't recommend anybody do the keto diet without mentioning it to some kind of doctor and making sure that you have your blood sugar checked before you do it. But I did find um, for people who like to eat more like organic, natural, basic food, um, I'm trying to find the website. Ha. WholesomeYum.com. And it's sugar-free keto oatmeal cookies. So for people who have any kind of like nut allergies, this is good. Nothing nutty. Um, and like oat fiber, um, wholesome. Well, this is they're trying to their own brand, blanched almond flour, which I kind of like to use to taste like a little better and lighter. And blanched is better than bleached as far as I'm concerned. Um, and it's a really good recipe, and it's like the format is really useful. And um, you can use egg beaters, and there's like alternatives to butter if you don't do butter. But I think if I'm gonna do butter, I'm gonna do butter. At least I know it's in butter. So, but you can use other things. Sometimes you can use like it says 2 large eggs. Okay, you can use egg beaters, but um, if you use like Greek yogurt, sometimes applesauce for replacement stuff. But I've tried it a couple different ways, and if you want something keto, and it's one net carb, which you can actually kind of figure out. And if you don't like xanthan gum, you don't have to put it in there. But I'll put xanthan gum sometimes, just a little bit of a thickener. But it's a really, really good recipe. I tried it a couple different ways, and you can sort of change it and maneuver it to kind of suit your dietary needs. But you can also change it a little bit if you don't really want like total keto or total sugar free, and but you can get lower carb still and add a little bit of natural sweetness. It's pretty easy. It doesn't take that long. It's not like some big chore. Um, so I did try it, and it's easy to do. The directions make it simple. I mean, you can't get confused with the way these directions are um, laid out on the page. So I can't do keto, so but I can do lower carb. Um, crap, another one. And I'm like, oh, gee, another doctor referral. No, I don't want to do a tour of hospitals and doctors. No, I don't want to. So I was checking in bariatric surgery because certain situations I can't shed weight exactly the way that my body used to. So looking at these things, because people may not get I mean, I know cameras, like I feel like I look bigger than I am sometimes, but I don't care. I know I'm a bit of a burly girl, swimmer shoulders. You get these when you're young, they don't go away. No. Then I get soccer legs. You get these when you're young, they don't go away. Um, so there are like so many freaking forums and questions, and I get asked the same questions over and over again. So I've started like making this little tiny report of my very own one page, like here. I I I don't want to be here, and so these are all the things that are exactly the same from the last time. I don't want to be a professional patient of pretty much anything. Actually, that's not where I want to be. But there are this is the thing, is that there are cases where if it's BMI, might some people might have a higher BMI, but the muscle rate ratio might be different. So there are occasions where people would not believe that I was carrying 236 pounds on me. And I'm 5'3". Yeah, I think it shrank me or something. I'm shrinking. Um, Crazy. That's too much. Yes, but what are you supposed to do? Like, okay, I'm being shot up with corticosteroids and I'm taking these medications and like the people from places where they can't, you know, pick me up. I'm so glad people pray. That's a good thing. But some of it is just like I can't rely on certain people who aren't like standing right next to me. You know what I'm saying? Right? It's a little too difficult. Um, so yes, my pile like went down, and then overnight it went back up another half a foot. So I'm getting rid of shit. I don't really care. Like I walk around piss ass poor if I need to hide in state parks, sleep on trees. Um, what's the other thing? Oh, speaking of which, this is why I have this. Um, People in the state of Maryland who, you know, want to try to quit smoking. Okay. Don't let any doctors trying to see if you are on Medicaid. Okay. And it is also known, okay, as medical assistance. Okay. People get that confused, but in the state of Maryland, those two things mean the same thing. Okay. It's not Medicare, it's Medicaid. Any county's health department probably has, I know mine does, a quit smoking program that you can participate in for free. And if you've already done one, I've done one in the past. And so they got a book and met people, and that was like 20 some years ago. But MarylandQuit.org. Okay. There's like a whole bunch of stuff that you can get insurance to pay for, patches, nasal inhaler if you want that. So if you want to do a nicotine replacement drop down, okay, there's a way to do it, right? Because the patches are expensive and sometimes it's hard to keep track by yourself. So there's a bunch of resources. And so I'm not going to tell anybody. I mean, somebody's telling me it's a filthy habit. I'm like, yeah, well, so is the fact that you don't like really shower well and you live in like stinky clutter, right? People can express their opinions and that's fine. But other people can say, well, sure, but when we were kids, we could just go to stores and buy them. And the Surgeon's General warning wasn't on the package. So get over it. Um, but don't quit quitting. That's the point. Because here's the biggest tip I can give anybody if you're trying to just push aside a habit that you know isn't really the best. Don't concentrate on it. Okay? No, don't. Um, because if you start fixating on it, you understand? Don't make people feel guilty about it because that is just going to drive them in deeper. Please don't do that. That doesn't help. It's not therapeutic. It's not kind. It's not helpful. Okay? Some people have a harder time because they just really always want to be like there for people. and always want to like come through for people, but it doesn't always happen. That probably everybody who's an adult has come across that situation at some point, and most people get past it. So, um, there are plenty of online resources, but there's confusion, you know, with insurances and other kind of things. And you know, I know that there are a lot of places, counties in the state of Maryland that do have health department, right, things, situations, and you might have to go to class and talk to people, but you can get all kinds of resources. There's numbers you can call. Sometimes you can get like a support person, or you can get reminders, and you know, like some kind of like tricks to quitting may not work for some people, but some will. And so just don't quit quitting is all I'm trying to say. All right. People are adults, it's legal. So, you know, some people do need to realize that. But I'm kind of one of those smokers. I mean, I'm not going to smoke in somebody's face, and I'm not going to, right. If I need to go outside, you know what I'm saying? Well, then I get to go outside. See what I'm saying? Right? At least that happens. Just don't quit quitting. And try to get as many tips as you can. Because some of them you might try and they might, help. But plenty of people have done it. So I haven't quit quitting. I don't really like it at all. Nope. And, but they're like, it will start decreasing. So for me, I know how this works. For other people, it might be different. So this is the other thing that I'm gonna say, because I've run across there's doctors and patients and people in hospitals and all kinds of different places get different. And I checked with a coordinator who runs it. Yes, quit smoking, playing for a health department and Maryland Medicaid can cover certain patches, gum, whatever. I don't. If you've ever had surgery on your mouth and there's been anything like that, the one thing I can say, I don't really suggest the gum, because, it, you know, yes, it was not. It caused pain for me, but just know that like there's a way, and but don't think about it too much. Okay, don't obsess about it. Don't like go hide behind, like some building because you think people are going to be all judgy. Okay. Right. Um, it can happen, and it can happen easily. You just got to let it. So don't obsess about it. Just, it's kind of like, oh, where am I? Well, how am I doing? I'm a non smoker. I'm on the way to being a non smoker. You just keep going that way. That's what happens. So I get addiction people really well. I grew up, everybody in my family was addicted, and many people that I was around on a daily basis were addicted to something. And say that I really haven't, but it's not like it makes you a bad person. And some people disagree with that, and I don't care. Um, so that's something that's gonna happen for me. Um, and then I'll be done with that. So I had to close down two projects. There's just no way that it's gonna happen. I can't really travel. And if I do, if I get on a plane, it's pretty much got to be nonstop. Because it's like scuba diving. Anybody's done any scuba diving or learned anything about it. So, like, I do have that issue descending a bit because I can't go below an atmosphere underwater. Too many squeezes and right body compression. It's kind of like I get a weird early version of the bends, but it's not that bad. So not for me to be right. But it happens to me air travel wise. So if I have to do a layover, then I gotta wait like at least 24 hours before I'm like able to be conscious aware enough to get another plane. So some people may have those kind of things, just don't realize it because you never felt these things going scuba diving. So you can get squeezes going up and you can get squeezes going down. That's what they're called when air in the and I blew out a tooth. That's how I found out. No going, no going. Right, right. I was trying to clear it, and yeah, there it is. What the hell's that? Okay, I'm up, I'm out, I'm out. Yeah, spitting out some tooth. That's probably that's a little. That's not an everyday occurrence, people. I promise. But it had to do with the way of filling was Um. So just for me, there's so many things I wish I could do. I mean, I probably, can find a way to get to Australia and visit it. It's just, for me, travel, it's kind of like, well, yeah, and if I go to Australia, then I have to plan like a month long trip because it will take me like that long, okay, flight. I'm gonna have to change the time of my medications and keep track of all that, so that I'm not totally. But then I'm not only am I going to be nonstop 24-hour jet lag, but trying to figure out my medications for that, and so I won't be able to do anything at all really useful. Like, I'm getting used to things, and then I'll turn around and go back home. So yeah, that would be very nice. So it's not just a money thing at all. Some places just have to forego it. But there are some really interesting people online, and some of us are a little nutty this trip. But I'm an extra sane nut, and that's a good news. So I'm taking a break from any kind of studying. I'll just try and pick back up here and there. Yes, I've spent a great deal of time now blitzkrieg and study, and it's been like 10 freaking years. All right, without taking too many breaks. So I'm taking a break. And since I don't work for anyone, yay! Good news. But trying to figure stuff out healthcare wise in the US is just, I can understand why some people just give up and don't make it. It makes perfect sense to me. Okay. So again, I don't know. I know by tomorrow afternoon I'll have pretty much everything that I'm gonna sell as a lot in certain order and photographed. And So that should be done tomorrow. Uh, I was gonna tell a joke, but now I can't remember what the hell the joke is. I don't know, man. It is. My brain's like, I've got it. It's never mind. As you get older, your brain starts to fart just a little more. And it gets gassier as you get. Huh? What? Oh yeah. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What'd you say? Oh, I also have a small. I have abnormal hearing loss for a person my age. That could be a lot of different reasons, but if it was because I went to a lot of concerts, I don't care. Get a hearing aid. I don't care if I blew out my ears at freaking concert. That's why I like going to concerts, because it's just like, exactly, I can just sing for hours and hours and hours, like nonstop. So once I get started, by the time I'm done, my voice is very, very useless, like for a very long time. But if mine gets damaged, sometimes it's not like the end of the world, because, at least I'm not trying to, carry people with my voice. So um, that's good news. But I'm a friendly person. I'm an adult. I'm a real person. It is easy, very easy, to check out either Creasesinger or Dr. Mia Loof. Okay. I don't marry people together, but I will say I wouldn't care which two humans, as long as you're two humans in front of me. But I wouldn't marry anybody without 3 consultations, no matter how bad you want to have sex. Okay. Because that doesn't always stay around. So it's probably better to marry somebody for some other reasons too. Is all I'm saying. And this quick turnaround marriage stuff was like, hey, some of us haven't been married yet. Well, I'm 50. That's the point. You get to a certain point where you just don't. Um, so Twitter will not be something that I will be doing often. I know some of it's like weirdness and what have you. Don't worry about it. Like some of it, some people might understand, and some of it might be like 2 years later, somebody's like, "What the hell is this shit?" Oh, but that's another reason why, at least YouTube, there's some things just don't really belong. I mean, there are people that know that, and it's not like people don't, you know, do things to try and make sure that certain things are not, you know, totally bogus. See what I'm trying to say? But there are those. I'm just going to say this one last time. There are some of us who, I'll put it to you this way. Remember the .com boom? So, like, yeah, there are times I can't do any kind of R&D really, but sometimes I wait. Something I can do. No, that kind of. And no, I don't want to own an NHL franchise anymore. Well, I think some people kind of ruined that for me. And I'm not sad about it, because I don't do that. Okay? I never do. But I am sad about the fact that the United States, at least the state of this nation, is better be a freaking illusion right before my freaking eyes, and I'm telling you, I doubt it is. Like, right. I mean, I've lived a lot of places, and some of them more upscale, and some of them, and a lot of people on drugs everywhere. Okay, and so this whole country is like way over medicated. Now, if that was another country's doing, I'm going to say, you people got to learn to leave innocence out of things. Everybody does. And the only thing that I can really do is pray for the world leaders. Do you understand? That they're having understandings about certain things. And there are a lot of people aren't sitting in rooms with some of these people. So conjecture for me, I just kind of leave it out. Okay? I usually do. And I'm a little discerning about who I'm going to call friends because, I mean, come on. Yeah, there's people met on the internet, and it's just not at all representative of, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, right. I don't do that. And so, at the very least, anybody could easily just kind of put my name, okay, on that and just put Creasesinger, and I still have my name mentioned on web pages from former jobs and a couple research projects and several other things. I think part of my blog somewhere that might just be a goner, and I'll deal with it. Right? Like, I'll make a synopsis probably around this point in time. Yeah, I don't know, but trying to get everything kind of organized the way it should be is happening a little differently than I would have preferred. But I mean, that's the way things happen sometimes. So any tithe, right? Which I don't have in cash. Like, yeah, I'm not anybody's freaking money maker, okay? And no, I'm not gonna make it rain for you. But I will say this also, that in the United States, all the citizens and visitors need to understand that native land, okay, yes, the Native American Indians, they have portion land. And even though they are in the United States, okay, within that structure, okay, right, they were actually here first, okay, and most of them have their own governmental structure. And so they're sort of like also separate, but together. They kind of like their own, right, government. So, you know, I definitely was like, okay, well, I don't give a shit what kind of money you're making or what kind of resources you want. Well, go frack somewhere else before you get fracked, because that land is guaranteed. And if issues with something that is adjacent to that land is an issue, tough shit. That's reparation land. See what I'm saying? So there's some stuff, if it's not working out, then don't fight it. Shut the hell up. Get your stuff and make sure that their water source is okay. The multi-millionaires trying to, I'm like, you probably don't even remember what Earth looks like at this point. But those of us you fucking stepping on would like you to know some things that are actual true and real facts. So that people actually born in the US. See, here's the thing, okay? Any foreign citizen, I'm not talking about them. I don't care where they are or where they snuck in or what they did. I'm talking about natural born American citizens so ridiculously uneducated about their very own country. Well, I don't have to sit back and be like, well, I guess nothing you can do about it. That's just the way it is. I don't know. Talking about shit is over. Right. I prayed and asked the Holy Lord Father God to arrange a marriage for me, so I don't really give a crap anymore about a lot of stuff. But the internet use, you understand, does kind of have to get wrangled because that's exactly what I'm telling you. Okay, Native American land is like land that has this, they have their own like little separate government, and so they're not run quite like the United States government. There are several unique situations about this country, and it's not the best idea to be going around saying, "What do you mean it's a great country?" I'm like, people need to understand that doing that, see, undermines what is true and real and good for all humankind. So I'm out, and I really don't give a shit. Space rock comes flying this way, right? Some of it is just theoretically not possible. And so, fine. Everybody with your highfalutin titles and your ridiculous notions about unrealistic situations in the natural. And so you want to go live the unnatural life and become, heads in computers. Don't expect that that's what everybody wants. And you don't get to shape my future, Mr. Elon Musk. And neither do some of the rest of you. Right? People need to know that. Like, I'm not, like, you know what? I don't even care. I'm like, it's not about foreign citizens, U.S. American citizens. Learn how to speak the language that you actually grew up with. It's called English. And the reason you do that is that other people who speak English can understand you properly. Okay? So don't any of you people giving other citizens a hard time. Like, you got no right to do that. It is troublesome. Certain people allowed to vote. Some people allowed to have firearms, and it's just for some strange reason. Yeah, like, the wife didn't do the, wifely duty, and everything's so hard. No, it's not. And I don't agree with those kind of sentiments. And when people would like to act like civil adults who can have general civil conversations, I might be back, but I might not. Right? There's it's just insane the amount of evidence against like so many people online there is that how would anybody expect that certain things wouldn't start becoming like plainly, clearly obvious. Right? So a lot of people do need to understand, no, I get a backstory. Okay. And it's why I don't suggest people cram for exams or, but sometimes deadlines get pushed because of emergencies, and that happens. It does. But some people, I think, try to bury themselves in their work because it keeps them away from the pain of thinking of other things. And if you bury it too deep, it is extremely harmful to do that. So try not to do that. Okay. It may not be easy. People might get a little pissy every so often. Everybody does it. Right. Like, that's what happens. But people's expectations of me are so ridiculously not even close to any kind of reality that could possibly ever exist. So I don't do that to males, right? Generalizations. Here's something I don't do. Terminology. Here's something that can like ease stress for other people and for you. Simply use the words some people will snipe and gold dig and lie and cheat and play the game. Okay? But some people do not. And it's not a good idea to try and go online dating if you're still bitter about the ex, because that's not really fair to you. And so there's some stuff I just don't do anymore. I'll try again, because sometimes it's kind of like, but after a while, it's like, oh no, I don't have to be empathetic to anybody anymore. Then you don't have to, right, be inspired by yourself. Um, so that's the way things happen sometimes. Um, but like, even if you're feeling like dog bad because you did something, there are times when you might think it's way worse than somebody's actually perceiving it online. And so perception when it comes to Twitter and certain online is very different sometimes. So I would never really agree with any licensed therapist who did only online, did only over the phone uh, therapy. That's not okay. COVID was an emergency example. Okay. But normally you're not helping anybody. You got eyes on. And sometimes when they walk in, you might notice smells. Right? Depressed people will cry. Be prepared for that. So it does sometimes. There'll be those little patches where it's like it's all just ridiculously meaningless. However, okay, there's meaning. It's just what individuals put meaning on and value. I disagree with how you do that. So sometimes, sometimes, no, I don't want a sports car. Geez Louise. Well, first of all, I'll get in trouble with that sucker. No, no, no. We don't want that. All right. No. Yeah. I know myself well enough. You understand? No sports car for me. Okay. But, that's something that's either four-wheel or all-wheel drive is always going to be my option. These kind of things are always going to be me. I'm always going to want to go camping. I'm always going to want to do these things. And there's people like, well, what do you want to do with your life? And I'm like, well, not die, for one. Number two, uh, well, I have plenty of qualifications to do many things, actually. But when you get treated like shit and you're the only subject matter expert, right? Eventually, you're just like, oh, fuck no, I don't have to deal with that shit. And I don't agree with some clergy who say that I do. Okay? I cannot get away from the drug addicts or the people with legal and illegal firearms. I'm perfectly comfortable around firearms, by the way. But I purposely don't carry because of post traumatic stress. So I'm unarmed. Now, it does get a little difficult to feel safe and secure when unarmed little woman, you understand, who is trying to recover from severe acute trauma, right? Standing outside, even in the little burbs and the, country stuff. Dudes in my parking lot. I'm smoking a cigarette. Dudes in my parking lot yelling and screaming at her, trying to run one over with a vehicle. Okay. And another one running around with a knife 6 feet away from me. So I don't carry on purpose. Okay. And I don't have one on purpose because if I'm feeling low enough or if certain situations start happening, I try not to let it get so far that it's going to be a risk to me, not anyone else. You understand? Right. Don't push people sometimes. Sometimes you don't push at all. So people who know people who have firearms, illegal or not, I don't care. Just remember that, you know, some people may eventually just resort to that because they don't know who to tell what. They don't know exactly what's happened or what they've done wrong or who they're supposed to pray to or what the hell kind of anything at all is happening anywhere on earth. You understand? Right. I don't need to know the meaning of life. I was born knowing the meaning of life. Okay? And while I can transcendental meditate, I don't to a certain extent, and I don't go that far. Why? Because there's nothing there. It's not one of those, oh, if you take a step, it'll be there. But people need to find out for themselves sometimes. And so in my country, it is true that whether you're religious or not, you should feel comfortable being a citizen. But you do have to participate. Okay? Way too many passengers. I don't give a shit what kind of plane anybody else has. But I'm not carrying anybody's load. Okay? And I won't be able to assist the young goalie this year because I didn't get any funds to try and work something out. But maybe something like that. And any other kind of work I do is off ice with goaltenders, and I do that word of mouth, and I'm out. Just yeah, right. Well, one, I didn't get paid once, and that set me back half a year. So, and number two is Not really something that is like meant for beginners anyway. But I don't do that anymore either. So I don't think that's advertised anywhere online. So I don't think I need to worry about making sure I need to remove anything online. But I do take time to try and update everything that I've put online every so often. So it's there. But I have a history. I didn't just come out of a vacuum, you understand? And it's not a history of lies, deceit, and prison, right, at all. Um, so some people need to at least be heard or listened to or acknowledged, but it's all the human race. Y'all people need to stop with that crap. Okay? All the human race. And you'll start feeling like a human. I need better friends. And I need fewer air quote friends. And I can't handle loud families right now, is all I'm trying to say. It's just doesn't, it's not, I'm not okay with that. But people who have post traumatic stress, I understand. It does kind of suck. I know. You don't want people to feel guilty, but then you still want them to, and then, right? So, quiet rooms for anyone who's diagnosed with post traumatic stress. Find a way to make that happen. Okay? In your house, somewhere in, a neighbor's house, right? And make sure that certain people, that you understand that certain people could use firearms to harm themselves too, which is not something that gets discussed a lot, but should be. All right, I've seen too many people, alcohol, handling firearms. I've seen too many people. I've been shot in the foot. I'm glad for steel toe boots. Still, they're not toys. They never will be toys. No firearm on any kind of like movie set or anything should ever have a firing pin in it. There's just some stuff that whatever. So I know people want to bring truth to light, and I get that, but some of you do it in every which way, kind of harmful way, and many of you did not consult certain sources that would indicate some things. So no, you know, not everybody's a private investigator either. There's some realities that need to still be maintained, and there's some, sobriety that still needs to be maintained. And there are people that, you know, just defer to take, and just keep beating down somebody and beating down somebody because, right, heaven forbid that anyone actually be flawed in this world. They're not character flaws. They're human beings, is what it is. Yeah, but I prefer animals to humans most of the time. I'm not gonna lie. There's a reason I spend a lot of time with them. It's not like I want to, but I go out on the street and I have to deal with mentally ill, people who have been self medicating for years, people who just stop giving a crap and is like, well, I'm just gonna take because I'm old. It's all very unfortunate to me. All of it. So I'm not totally doomy about the whole thing. But some people can't make it out of the fucking depths by themselves. So, try to be a decent human being when you're online. And the reason I don't really like people coming at me with different identities and they seem to not match is because that is one of the things that is an indicator that you may not be dealing with the actual person that you are talking to. That's internet security kind of thinking, okay? But if people want to keep pressing issues, then you you might be in another country. You might. That's the problem. Like so many people, they don't know who the scammers are and what the scammer's code is and what the drug addict's code is. See what I'm saying? Right. As far as I'm concerned, 420 all you want. But if you smoke it, you stand a higher chance of dying than you do if you smoke cigarettes. So just remember that. It's not good to smoke. But the smart chemists and the people who actually do sleep research and the people who actually test these things, I'm sure the CBD can help maintain better sleeping and circadian rhythms. But the dosage, I don't know. That's all I can say. It can't be the THC that's doing certain things. So, unfortunately, people who are just high all the time, well, your understanding of euphoria becomes out of sync and out of line with right what is good for you and the people around you. And so some people hide in their work, and I'm not saying who, but you need to stop and just stop and find some way to occupy yourself. So I'm not looking for volunteers anymore. And so I'll make sure that there's stuff that's not online. I have to go back and change the format for 3 things. And that all needs to be done by the 1st of July. So I'm going to get it done by the 1st of November. So I have to futz with it. Okay? I'm not some kind of mogul and I don't really care. I can say this truthfully and honestly. I've met people who barely have anything. And they're pretty decent people most of the time. Okay? But I've met some people who really are like serious, full blown douchebags. But some of them aren't. So, everybody, quit being so freaking judgy. Sometimes you got to talk to somebody in person. Sometimes internet communication gets confusing. Okay? It does. Sometimes, even if you're using like emoticons or any of that kind of stuff, right? It could be perceived completely differently from another individual's point of view. So, try to be adults. So that's the thing. There are people, they want to go back and be teenagers, and I'm like, well, you better not be dragging me into that shit. I don't care if I get old and die. I don't give a fuck anymore about anybody's great plan or anybody's greatness or who the hell I'm supposed to worship or whatever. Some people don't even know what sins are. Like, well, how you fucking know not to do something? You get what I'm trying to say? The clever and the mysteries aren't for me. And some of the ancients just really should just sleep forever. Honestly. Okay? I'm not trying to get erudite with people, and I'm done being a student for a while. I've been a student for like full bore since like 2013. And all of my family belongings. So you all want to keep your stuff, but I'm not allowed to for some reason. You all want to have your religion and your situation in the US, but you don't want someone else's. But you can't have that freedom and take it away from another. I had land that was meant for a very specific purpose. But somebody decided to do the thinking for me who doesn't know shit about me and isn't related to me. And that's against the law. So I don't even really need to be a lawyer to pretty much take down quite a few all on my very own. Okay. But I do the right thing and try not to get litigious at first because that's not really cool. But people are too snipey and too cowardly and too distrusting. And I get tired of that too. It's like, what the hell are you people worried about? I've been online since like the early 80s. Well, there's proof and evidence of some of it, like all over the place. You see what I'm trying to say? Like, are some of you jealous because I live in a home now? That I'm not on the street now? Because somebody thought it would be funny to put me on the street. Some people's jokes aren't that humorous. And eventually, somebody's going to find out one day. So sometimes I just wait. And if it happens after I'm dead, well, okay. Right. So no, I can't do projects most of the time anymore. I can't do any work. I have to make sure word of mouth for goalie stuff because I don't advertise it. And no, I can't help a goalie for free. So that's off the list. And now I gotta do an entirely new will and advance directive and everything else. So I just concentrate on that stuff and not worry about what anyone else was doing online. But admittedly, there are quite a few yapping and flapping, and you're doing serious harm. But are you supposed to be doing serious harm? Is that what's supposed to be happening? Yeah, I try and find the root of it because it's not fair to certain people, especially when innocents get dragged into things. And that's all that happens in this world. And people want to get all these philosophical viewpoints, and it's just like, well, yet still humans are yet still humans. And people freaking about natural resources, like, because you please check with people who actually like are well in control of certain situations and abundantly aware of them since probably before you were born, before you start getting angry. Okay? Don't ever curse anyone in public. I don't mean foul language. Okay? What I mean is, yes, think that you have the power to actually curse, Because what happens is briefly, ooh, and then, oh, sometimes it can kill you in less than a day now. So I'm I'm trying to tell everyone. I'm clearing some stuff out, but I appreciate some help so that I can check something. Okay. But there's no issue. Somebody's got some fake emergency running all the time. And I just don't have a lot of, good hope on my own here. Almost everybody around here is just underqualified, confused, lost, has no idea about like who they're supposed to talk to, how to get places. The transportation has skyrocketed. And I personally don't give a shit. But anyone who's a part of that, you need to understand you are causing harm to innocence. And that will be on your record. And I don't give a shit. I'm not some clever lawyer. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be like someone else who already is, because I'm born and I'm already like me who already is. Yes, there's a light back there. Does that? That might be faulty wiring. This is a very old building. So much that I would do with a certain amount of money, but I don't have that certain amount of money. So I need the magician who thinks that I can just, and money just shows up to make yourself known to me. Okay? In the US, it is just best policy, if you have accepted the Holy Lord Jesus Christ as your Lord of Lords and Kings of Kings, to simply just bless people and pray for them. You can never make a mistake that way. And it's very simple for those who have accepted the Holy Lord Jesus as your Lord and Savior and King of Kings. You understand? Don't worry about getting tricked. It can't happen. It is not possible. So don't think that way. It isn't possible. Okay? Just everybody agree with Jesus. Right? That's how you get in line, in tune. Okay? And that means that we all agree with each other. If people just keep taking the law into their own hands, then I refuse to live in this country for a variety of reasons. And I can show other countries that are sanctuary countries. There's evidence online, there's evidence from hospital records. So I would be able to, right, beyond any shadow of any doubt, get certain convictions. I don't like crooked cops. Okay? I don't like people who run around, selling illegal crappy guns that blow up in people's faces when they. I don't like espionage. I'm not interested in mysteries. Okay? I can't just keep up with, everybody's freaking TV show. And I'm tired of TV. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of people trying to make it seem like their lives are ridiculously difficult. So I'm not the kind of person who's going to be around somebody and take pictures of them if they happen to be smoking a bowl. You understand? Jeez. Like their people just got so high up here. They don't know what the fuck they're stepping on. They don't know what they built on in their life, frankly. Just wish it would all come crashing down. But I already took the time to let it all go. And that was written, yes, quite some time ago in 2007. So I have a historical presence online. Started on BizRate, and it was meant for business, but creative effort, there wasn't really like a lot of options. Okay. But I knew the possibilities of the internet and cameras and all sorts of other, right, and more capability to, you know, have more worldwide conversations that you can see visually and do other things that don't cost anywhere near as much as trying to travel people all over the place. So I know some people want to just get up and go travel the world. Well, go. I mean, go. Some people want to settle down. Well, I've been wanting to settle down for years. Okay. But what are my choices? Like, I got PCP and cocaine over here. I got one bottle of Jack a day over here. These aren't really like, you know, excellent candidates for settling down, are they? No. But my town here is, there's a lot of interesting, boisterous people, but unfortunately, some of them need to be wrangled because they don't understand the harm they're doing to others, or the fact that they could possibly, right, actually pop off and commit violence. One of them is a female. I can't have these people out in communities like that. See, you can't just like get rid of, my 50 years on earth. And there are things that you just can't manipulate no matter how hard you try. Okay. But nobody's permitted to experiment on me for any reason. And nobody's permitted at a certain point to not at least let me know what your real freaking name is. Okay. Because if I get to the point where that doesn't happen, okay, best practice is I'm not going to talk to you that way because I don't need sneaky shit in my life. And I don't need anybody who needs to feel like they're sneaky in my life. Okay? Um, so if you really can't talk to anybody, write it down, say it out loud, talk to a tree, cry until you just fall asleep. I'm generally an optimistic person, but somebody wants me harmed, and that's still the case. So, fine, you win. I got no issue with it.